Kush's movie review.
Kush's movie review special edition. As we lead up to the Oscars, Kush has kindly suggested that he's going to review each and every Best Picture nomination for your consideration. What do we got on this special episode of Kush's movie review, my friend?
We are talking about the Steven Spielberg. It's kind of a biopic, but not a biopic. The Fabelmans. It's PG-13. It came out November 23rd. I believe that's Thanksgiving weekend, 2022. It's if it didn't say it's PG-13, it's PG-13 and 2 hours and 31 minutes. It is also nominated this
How
year
long?
for 2 hours 31 minutes, which
That's far too long.
Usually long. If it's not an entertainment movie, it's long. This one probably just about right. Maybe could be longer, but we'll talk about that later if we do. 7 Academy Awards this film is nominated for. That is including Best Production Design, Best Screenplay. It is the supporting actor with Judd Hirsch, supporting actress with Michelle Williams, Best Original Score, Best Director Steven Spielberg, and Best Picture. This movie stars Gabriel LeBeau. That's a gentleman, by the way. He's a young gentleman. Michelle Williams, the aforementioned. Paul Dano. Yeah, most folks will know from the Batman. Much thinner in this than the Batman. And then Seth Rogen. This is loosely based on Steven Spielberg's upbringing in the 1950s. You know, they start on the East Coast. He's just a kid doing his thing. Someone gives him a camera, makes the motion
film
pictures.
camera.
A film camera as opposed to
than
an audio
those
camera.
Yeah, those weird audio cameras.
Yes, sir. Anyway, yeah, this is about Steven Spielberg becoming a movie maker. So yeah, it's charming in spots, man. And you get to know the family, and there's a lot of fun stuff involved. Steven Spielberg has 3 sisters. They all do their thing. It's whatever. Seth Rogen is there, and you think he's harmless, but fathers, keep your eye on Seth Rogen because he might take care of your daughters later. No es bueno. Anyways, we learn about what it was like to possibly make an independent film back in the 1950s, the 1960s. Also, what this fictional Steven Spielberg went through. The character is fictional, but Steven Spielberg is real. However, he still dealt with like weird prejudices, like someone found out he was Jewish, and despite the fact that he looks like everybody in that Arizona locker room, got some anti-Semitic hate for it. And where there is hate, there's also love, because there's a chick who also just dated him because he's Jewish. She's a Bible thumbing Catholic, but because Jesus was Jewish, this guy's the next best thing, and she's all about it. And yeah, that's a weird thing that they could have explored more, but didn't. Anyway, we can learn more about Steven Spielberg and what his upbringing was like, and what his 3 sisters was like, and what his dad's best friend was like, and how his mom reacted around his dad's best friend. And well, he made some movies in between all that too. And you know what, man? Today, it is way easier to make an independent film. You got your iPhone, you got your smartphone, you got a GoPro. You can make movies today. There's software you can download legally or illegally onto your laptop. And there's no reason for you to not be creative with today's technology. However, they had to be more creative back then. So there's a whole scene where young Steven Spielberg is making a movie about a guy, a cowboy working his way through the Arizona outback, and catches up with some hombres and has to shoot his way out of a situation. And when they're shooting the film, all they got is like caps at best. You know what a cap gun is, Mike Fish?
It's like the thing that you put in there, and then you pull the trigger and it just pops a popper and it goes pop.
Just go pop, just go pop. Yeah, all right.
I used to have
So
a
you know what a cap gun?
cap gun back in my day. I used
Cool.
to tap a cap in people's asses.
Nice. You're a gangster, Mike Fish.
Gangster. I'm so gangster.
So he got a couple of cap guns, and when he's filming it and he's editing it, once he's editing it, he's looking at it like, this just looks like a bunch of cap guns, and this is some bullshit. And then he figures out a way around it. And not to spoil things, I thought it was a very clever thing. He's just even his dad's impressed by it. He's like, how'd you make it look like the guns really fired? Like, I literally poked a hole in the film. Like film is not, when you make a movie these days, it's digital. But once upon a time, there's a thing called film, and it had to be like you had to send it to a lab, and it had to be produced and duplicated and all that stuff. And guess what? It was a whole process. But back then, once he had his film reel, he just took a pin and poked a hole in the actual reel, and you know what? It looked good, but it could have gone so wrong. And it's one of the impressive things about the Fabelmans is you hear about like how how you kids today call it a life hack, but back then it was just I worked around it. I figured things out. Like I looked at one thing, I saw my limitations, and then I just went through it. So nowadays it's called a life hack. So Steve Spielberg poked a hole in the film, got his gunshots off, and Paul Dano, his dad, is just like, oh man, you're gonna make some movies. Let's support this habit. Let's make this more than a hobby. And before that, there's some conflict. Don't call it a hobby. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, um, as things would happen in the 50s, all of a sudden divorce is a thing, and families are unhappy. Couples separate. What do you do with the kids? That's a whole other story. But yeah, that is also the thing. Steven Spielberg has to work out how his family is now separated and what separated them. And I don't want to get into it, but I've also mentioned his name, and it's a funny stoner comedy guy who's one of his first dramatic roles that I know of, and he does a good job. Not gonna lie.
Does he though? I can't imagine
Yeah,
him in a serious movie.
he's still lighthearted. He's still the innocence of this. Despite the fact that he's breaking up a family, he's still a nice guy. He wants everyone to win. He doesn't want to hurt this man. This man is actually his friend, but shit, he gets along better with his wife than he does. That's uh that's just how these things usually work out, unfortunately. So if you learn anything from the Fablemans, keep an eye on your woman. Don't don't let your best friend become friends with your wife.
Don't
And
trust Seth
encourage.
Rogen.
Don't trust Seth Rogen with your girl. I didn't want to say it, but you did, so I'll allow it. But the Fablemans, again, nominated for 7 Academy Awards this year, including Best Picture, Best Director, 2 Best Supporting Actors, and I'm not going to go any further than that. I give it a 4 out of 5, but I don't think it's the best picture of the year. Like, it's a very entertaining film. I think you could watch it around Christmas time if you wanted to, but it's people are going to forget about it within the next 3 years, as most of these Oscar films are. I believe you can see it on Apple Plus right now. Apple TV Plus, Apple TV Plus.
Dun, 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 dun. According to my quick Google search, you have to pay money right as of right now, as of recording.
Without the subscription?
It just says Apple TV from $5.99.
All right.
Scandalous.
I believe this is an Apple TV Plus movie,
Oh,
and I believe
probably
you can
probably
see
is
it for
available
free
for
with a
free.
subscription.
I'm loving the Apple TV plus plus plus. So where we scoring this out of 5?
4 out of 5.
4
That's
out of
good.
5.
That's good. Yeah. Uh, Subtract any time from of this 2.5 hour run? No, please add more to this. This movie, my biggest problem with this movie is it just ends. It doesn't have an ending. It
Oh,
just
I hate that.
ends.
I hate that.
There's no gunshot, fade to black, anything like that. It's just like, oh, I would like to know where. I would like to know more about this family. I would like to know more about the Fabelman child who is becoming a director that we know to be Steven Spielberg later.
Does
But
Steven
for
Spielberg make a a little cheeky cameo as like maybe like a shopkeep or something like that? You know,
nah,
they love to
but
do
he's
that
never
kind of
done
thing.
that. That's never been a thing he's done. I know. I saw it too.
Thumbs up. Beautiful. So this isn't where it as of the ones you've seen so far out of the 10 nominated for Best Picture. Have you got a ranking system worked out, or are you going to wait till you got all 10 before you rank them?
I think it would be smart if I wait this out. I still need to see 2 more films. I still need to see Triangle of Sadness, and I still need to see Women Talking. Uh, Um, as of right now, I'm just like, man, I guess these are the 10 we got. Of these 10 we got, I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is the best picture. But we'll get to that review sooner than later.
Watch your space. But yes, that was The Fableman, nominated for Best Picture 2023. And we will see you. Unless, do you have anything else to add on this?
We'll see you at the movies.
See you in the next movie review. Enjoyablebox.com. Cheers.